Okay, hi everyone. So for my integration project, my driving question was, what is the best way to conduct a blended creative writing course using a digital forum? And what I mean by the phrase digital forum is simply a place online where the students can interact with one another and provide useful critiques on each other's work, as well as posting their own work. And it's essentially just an online community. That's all I mean by that. Very similar to what we are doing in this online class, actually. So I have five other guiding questions to help me answer this big overarching question. The first is, what is blended learning? So according to a scholarly article I found, hybrid or blended learning is defined as a pedagogical approach that includes a combination of face-to-face instruction with computer-mediated instruction. The terms blended learning, hybrid learning, and mixed mode learning are used interchangeably in current research. So this just means that half the time the students will be in class with you, face to face in real life, and then the other half the time they will be working online. And the difference between that, the two words used are synchronous and asynchronous. So synchronous means just in real time. It means like you're chatting in person, or even if it's through online, if you're in a chat room and like interacting with a student, that counts as synchronous learning. Asynchronous learning is where, for example, you would post an assignment and then the students aren't currently interacting with you. They have time to think, they have time to plan, it's not like having a conversation like synchronous learning is. A successful blended learning class uses the benefits of both synchronous and asynchronous learning. And ultimately, the main important thing to know from the definition of blended learning is that the teachers and students bear an equal responsibility as they collaboratively learn and experiment in this kind of an online space. Because, I mean, if your teacher is super motivated and super excited about the online class, but the student doesn't know how to use a computer, it's not going to work. Everybody has to go in on it together. So my second question is, what does a successful blended learning class look like? The main thing for this is that the instructional goals should come first. You should not just be using technology for the sake of technology. Just because you add technology into a classroom does not mean that all learners will be motivated or engaged. And according to the same article, currently, based on current research, this article is only 2 years old. There are 6 modes of teaching through blended learning. I didn't go too in-depth into them because they are just theories currently, because this is such a new field. But I thought, just in case you want to do your own research, I would list them for you. So there's F2F driver, which means face-to-face. There's rotation, flex, online lab, self-blend, and online driver. So if you feel like going into those, you certainly can. I did not, just for the sake of this presentation. So my third question is, how do I choose what will be taught online and what will be taught in person? After some research, I realized that it all depends on the unit. Because when looking at teaching just creative writing, I think what I decided is that I wanted to teach a class on whatever the topic is, plot, characterization, imagery, whatever. And then the students they could either read a story online or in class with me, it all depends on the context. Whereas you could use the same technology for a different class and the context would be different, so maybe the students would need more hand-holding or less hand-holding. It just all depends. My fourth question is, what are some creative writing activities that I haven't thought of yet? We'll talk about this when I get to the cross-curricular implications. And what is the best online forum to teach creative writing online? So I looked at Moodle and I looked at Blackboard, just because I wasn't really sure how they worked, how they're set up. But I just quickly discovered that you need to actually call them to set up an account, and it needs to be with an official institution, and it's super expensive and a lot of money. So then I went, still having this forum idea in my mind, I went to this website called For You Motion. And the issue that I had with that one is that
Created using Powtoon.